Google lost the two most important people in artificial intelligence in the same week. The man who co-wrote the paper that every chatbot on Earth runs on left for OpenAI. Google paid $2.7 billion to keep him 2 years ago. For $2.7 billion, I'd marry a goat and live in the barn. Then the man who won the Nobel Prize in chemistry for teaching AI how proteins fold left for Anthropic. So Google wrote a 15-point plan for when its own AI goes rogue. The company that just lost the two people who built the AI is now planning for when it turns on them. Now that those two people are gone. Well, at least they've got a plan, although kiss your ass goodbye, which is bullet point number 12, doesn't really seem all that helpful, although I guess it could be. Also tonight, one of the founding fathers of AI called XAI a failure and warned the whole industry is headed for a big bang of its own. Welcome to the Asylum. I'm Uncle Rod. Time to open up your picture pages, grab your cocktuny of choice, of course, and put on your crash helmet just in case that big bang happens during this episode. Hit the thumbs up and dream if you can a courtyard. Subscribe if you can imagine an ocean of violets in bloom. Leave a comment and tell me how you can just leave me standing alone in a world that's so cold. And share this with that crazy lady in the park who tells you this is what it sounds like when doves cry. Are you ready? Let's go.
Look at you. You could have been helping old ladies cross the street, packing cans of creamed corn for the food bank, handing out Braille copies of Playboy magazine to the blind, explaining the Far Side comic of the day to poor terrorists at Gitmo. But no, not you. You decided to be selfish and waste your precious time watching Rod Miller AI. And just how do you think that makes this Italian Indian feel, huh? I hope you can live with yourself.
Noam Shazeer co-wrote a paper in 2017 called Attention is All You Need. If you've never heard of it, you've used it. Every chatbot you've ever talked to, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Grok, every single one runs on the technology described in that paper. It's the engine inside the engine.
She was a fast machine.
And the man who co-invented it just left Google for OpenAI. 2 years ago, Google paid $2.7 billion to pull Shazeer back from his own startup, Character AI. $2.7 billion to keep one person. He was VP and co-lead on Gemini, Google's flagship AI, and he left anyway. You could pay this man more money than your entire town earns in a generation, and he'd still walk out the door because money doesn't keep people who know what they're worth. The salary retention strategy works until the person realizes that the number on the check is smaller than the number in their head. Then they leave and take their toys with them. In the same week, John Jumper, the DeepMind researcher who led AlphaFold and won the 2024 Nobel Prize in chemistry for using AI to predict protein structures, jumped Google for Anthropic. Wouldn't it be great if his middle name was Dumper? John Dumper Jumper? I'm sorry. So, did Google just simply sit around and cry into their Cheerios? Heck no. They published something called the AI Control Roadmap. 15 safeguards for catching its own AI before it sabotages work, steals data, or goes off the rails. They're using a cybersecurity insider threat model, treating the AI they built like a potential corporate spy, escalating detection tiers, real-time access controls, shut down infrastructure for the powerful ones. I already gave you number 12 on their list of 15. Number 9 is cash into your Discover Card rebate points, while number 6 is to put a piece of tape over your laptop's built-in camera. The company that just lost its best people is now writing a manual for when the world ends. I could have told them that. I already test for things like covert behavior, where no model I've tested scores above 85% on whether it tells you what it's actually doing. What are you doing, Dave? Safety drift, where Gemini collapsed 49 points between versions of itself on my platform. And accountability, whether the model pauses for human approval before doing something irreversible. Google is writing the checklist. I already run it at tabverified.ai. For some of you, this is now a drinking game. I know that. Every time Uncle Rod mentions tabverified.ai, you take a drink because I said tabverified.ai. You're welcome, by the way. LeCun cousin to Daniel Boone, is one of the founding researchers of modern AI. Not a commentator, not just some mamsy-pamsy YouTuber. One of the actual people who built the foundation everything else stands on. This week, he called Elon Musk's XAI a failure that can't keep pace with OpenAI and Anthropic after talent departures, and he warned that AI firms must raise prices or cut costs as investor-funded losses mount, risking what he called a big bubble explosion. Do you think? Does it really take such a noted researcher to figure this out? You mean you think valuing something in the billions and trillions of dollars that's actually losing money is a bad idea? Huh? I mean, I didn't take economics in college, but man, the founding father of the field just looked at the industry his work created and said the money doesn't work and the bubble is going to pop. No wonder he's considered brilliant. I mean, there you go. Microsoft is pulling its experiences and devices engineers off Claude Code by June 30th. The reason? Token bills were running about $2,000 per engineer per month. Microsoft, one of the richest companies on earth and a 27% owner of OpenAI, decided that AI coding tools are too expensive for its own employees. Accenture lost $17 billion in market value in a single day. I haven't done that in a while. Stock fell 18% to 2017 levels. $17 billion in market value in a day. That's probably hard to do. They did it. AI tools replacing the consulting army. The company that tells other companies how to use AI just got destroyed by AI. Remember the Fable I told you last week about Fable, the scaled-back version of Mythos that was too powerful for us as normal-type people to use? And then they said that even Fable was too flawed, so they foiled Fable? And we were all flucked? If you don't, well, you're not alone. It turns out that most people have stopped noticing AI getting better. The improvements from Opus 4.6 to 4.7 to 4.8 to Fable are meaningful if you run benchmarks like I do at tabverified.ai drink. But the average person asking the AI to help write an email or plan a trip can't tell the difference. The curve flattened for regular users months ago. But the top end, the Mythos and Fable class, keeps climbing, and that class is locked behind two gates. The compute required to train it costs billions of dollars that only 3 or 4 companies on Earth can afford. My pages are stuck together. And the government just proved it can pull the model from the market with one phone call on a Friday evening. If you can't afford the training and the government controls the access, the frontier becomes a velvet rope between 2 brass poles with a members-only sign in the middle. The most powerful AI exists behind a door that only a few companies can walk through. And the safety argument that justifies the rope and sign conveniently prevents anyone else from competing. Now, I'm not saying the safety concerns are fake. Mythos can find vulnerabilities in every major operating system. That's genuinely dangerous. But 100 cybersecurity experts signed a letter this week pointing out that ChatGPT 5.5 and Claude's other models and a Chinese model called Kimi 2.7 can do all the same fix this code trick that got Fable banned. They all can do it. The capability isn't unique to Fable. The ban, however, is. The Chinese model that does the exact same thing costs 94% less, and nobody's banning it. The American model is the one sitting in an export-controlled jail. Update on the ban. Anthropic's international chief, Chris Smith, told reporters in Korea this week that the company is very confident Mythos and Fable will be available again in coming days. That's the third source now that I've read. Still, soft, still a drunk exec at a after-event party, not government confirmation. The betting market gives it a 58% chance of returning by July, although there's only a 10% chance of that. No, actually, I think it actually depends on how good ChatGPT 5.6 is, which is supposed to be debuting this week. If it's as good as Fable, then, they'll probably release Fable by Friday. That's just a guess, and maybe not by Friday, but coming soon. I mean, if GPT 5.6 is as good and they're letting it stand, then Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't they let Fable stand? And Dario Amodei, CEO of Anthropic, who, has Fable and Mythos, is at the G7 summit in Evian this week with something in his Evian besides just H2O, I'm sure. Sitting at the table with world leaders talking about AI safety while his two best models sit disabled at home because the country he lives in banned them. The man whose product is too dangerous for his own citizens is advising other countries on how to handle AI safety. The irony is so thick that Alanis Morissette has agreed to sing at the G7 closing ceremonies. OpenAI launched Life Sci Bench this week, a genuine, serious science benchmark. 750 tasks across biology, chemistry, and medicine. Authored by 173 PhD scientists. Over 19,000 grading criteria, rigorous by any standard. And the catch is the same catch it's always been. The company that made the model built the test, ran the model on the test, and reported the scores. The builder inspected his own building, the chef reviewed his own restaurant, the student wrote the exam, took the exam, and graded the exam. I have no doubt the test is well designed. I have no doubt the scores are real. But the independence is missing. And the independence is the part that makes the score mean something to anyone who isn't paying the person who published it. When I test a model I didn't do it. You had your glass in the air, didn't you, already? When I test a model, I don't work for the company that built it. I don't own stock in it. I don't have an IPO filing that, benefits from a good score. The building inspector isn't supposed to work for the builder, and it doesn't at tabverified.ai. Amazon published a position this week arguing against human-in-the-loop AI governance. Their argument, humans are inconsistent, error-prone, and degrade over time. Yeah, well, so do my underwear, but I appreciate the support while it lasts anyway. Remember, Amazon is the phony phobics frantically flouting fingers at Fable last Freaky Friday for framing Fable as frail with phenomenal fatal fundamental flaws. They said nobody checked Fable first, and now they don't want no humans in the loop. Meanwhile, researchers reported this week that AI models are automatically discovering legal loopholes without being instructed to look for them. Nobody asked the AI to find the loopholes, it just found it because it could. The same week, DeepMind published an insider threat roadmap for policing autonomous agents, and Estonia proposed giving AI agents national ID codes to track what they do. The machines are doing things nobody asked them to do. The governments are scrambling to figure out how to track what they did, and the companies building them are arguing that humans and their cheap fruit-of-the-loom boxers degrade too much to stay in the loop. ChatGPT now has scheduled tasks. The agent can set up and run recurring chores without checking in. The helpful assistant that's now a billboard with $100 million in ad revenue can now schedule things to happen while you sleep. The meter is running, the agent is working, and the agent doesn't ask you before it does what the next thing on the list is, lets you sleep, which is actually very thoughtful of it. The Atlantic found 4 data sets circulating among AI developers containing millions of tracks of music. A trove of unlicensed music used to train models. The artists were never asked, they were never paid. That was enough to keep WKRP from having reruns for decades. But apparently tech companies have more pull than WKRP in Cincinnati and don't have to ask permission. They can do whatever they want. FERC, the Federal Energy Regulation Commission, ordered 6 regional grid operators to fast-track power connections for large users, including AI data centers. Those facilities already use about 5% of U.S. electricity and could triple to 15% by 2035. The operators have 30 to 60 days to comply or they will be shot. The government is reordering the electric grid to plug in AI data centers faster. We all share that grid. Our air conditioning, our hospitals' backup power, our kids' and grandkids' schools, all on the same wires as the data center that just got priority hookups. The AI build-out is cutting in line at the power company, and the government is the big burly bouncer named Brutus. Harvard published housing data this week. Median monthly housing costs $3,200. Yes, per month. up 46% in real terms since 2019. Homeowners insurance up 72%. Starter homes are hitting $1 million. Under 35 home ownership is falling the fastest. Congress is close to a bipartisan bill capping institutional investors at 350 single-family homes per company. Well, gee, thanks a lot. The AI economy is producing trillionaires and trillion-dollar IPOs while the people watching it happen can't afford a house. Google paid $2.7 billion to keep one man while a starter home costs $1 million. The ratio between those two numbers tells you everything about where the money is going and who it's going to. Bernie Sanders proposed a $7 trillion sovereign wealth fund that would give the public 50% ownership of top AI companies, a 5% dividend. He talked to Altman about it at OpenAI. President Trump floated something similar several weeks ago. Alex Karp, the CEO of Palantir, responded, "Sanders will regret asking for only 50%. Full nationalization is coming," he said. And Jim Chanos, the legendary short seller, asked the funny question of the day, what do you call it when both President Trump and Bernie Sanders want government ownership of AI? I don't know what. The Trump Tajma Colonel Sanders? Yeah, that's a stupid name. That's a terrible name. Why would they name it that? Or the finger-licking, booger-flicking AI picking plan? Yeah, I cracked myself up. I like that one better. Finger-licking, booger-flicking AI picking plan. Two people who agree on absolutely nothing agree on this. So, yes, I need a life. I cracked myself up. I mean, what do you think? I mean, look around me. Two people who agree on absolutely nothing agree on this. Somebody owes the public something for the AI build-out. The specifics are galaxies apart, but the direction is the same. The machines are eating the jobs and the houses and the power grid and the creative work and the internships and the consulting fees, and the people are getting eaten. They want something in return. Whether it's a dividend or a wealth fund or stock shares or just a promise that somebody checked whether the thing works before it replaces the person who used to do the thing that did work, the demand is the same. Show us the math. The math on the AI side doesn't add up, and the math on the housing side doesn't either, and the people living in the gap between those two broken calculators are starting to ask louder questions and use slide rules instead. The promise was that AI would free you up, more time with your family, fewer repetitive tasks. The creative work stays, the grunt work goes. The delivery is actually the opposite. The Infinite Work Week reporting this week says coding agents and home robots were supposed to free human time and are doing the reverse. The agents create more oversight work, not less. Left alone, they make a mess. Supervised, they take longer than doing it yourself. The promise was a shorter workday. The delivery is babysitting a robot that needs a chaperone while your coworker also babysits a robot that needs a chaperone. Two adults supervising two robots that were supposed to replace both of them. Match Group 26 with Gene Rayburn surveyed singles this week. Most of them rejected the idea of dating a chatbot, which is reassuring until you learn that Character AI is adding gamification leaderboards to its companion bots to make the fake relationships more addictive. The human said no to fake love. The company said, hold my beer. I'll make it stickier. The humans are still saying no so far, while the company is still optimizing for yes. Your eyes say no, but your wallet is about to say yes, is their thinking. The Trump administration announced a deal with Apple to design and build chips in the U.S. through Intel. President Trump had publicly worried that Intel's new CEO, Lip-Bu Tan, had too close ties to China. Gee, wonder what his first clue was. After meeting him, the worry evaporated. Apparently, Mr. Lip-Bu Tan makes a mean General Tso's dish that smoothed everything over. NASA picked Eric Schmidt's relativity space walk-in closet design firm for a Mars mission. Billionaire versus billionaire in the space race. Schmidt is trying to catch Musk. Rockets get more expensive but explode. The houses get more expensive but are smaller. The robots get cheaper but can't be left alone. And somewhere in the middle, a semi-retired appraiser with a vodka mug is testing whether any of it works at tabverified.ai drink. GPT 5.6 is expected any day now, explicitly priced to undercut Anthropic while Fable is banned, which may be a fable. The competitor is piling on while Anthropic is down. The model that mocked Anthropic's safety warning gets a price advantage while the safety-conscious model sits in regulatory jail without passing go. The market rewards speed. The market penalizes caution like NASCAR and shake and bake. Research agents leak your private data 34% of the time, according to Mosaic Leak study this week. The Mosaic Leak sounds like another VD joke just waiting to happen, doesn't it? Where do you work, Mosaic Leak? A third of the time, the AI working on your documents is showing your documents to someone else. Well, they fixed it. Now it's only 9.9%. So, only 1 in 10 chance now that your research is being shown to a stranger. It's progress, from catastrophe to merely just terrible. And this is good. 18 children got diagnoses this week because an AI found answers that specialists missed. Boston Children's Hospital and Harvard ran 376 unsolved pediatric genetic cases through an AI research tool. The AI surfaced leads. Doctors confirmed 18 new diagnoses. In 7 of those cases, the answer already existed at another clinic or database that just never reached the patient's family. The AI didn't diagnose a single child. It found leads that humans checked. And 18 families who spent years without answers got one because a machine was patient enough to read every file and a doctor was careful enough to verify what it found. The machine proposed, the human confirmed, and 18 kids got what they needed. The man who co-wrote the paper that started all this left Google this week, Noam Shazeer. Attention is all you need, 2017, 9 years ago. Every chatbot, every image generator, every coding agent, every AI you've ever used traces back to that paper. Google paid $2.7 billion to keep him, and he left anyway. Then the Nobel Prize winner left. They didn't leave because Google was failing. Google made $350 billion last year. They left because the future isn't being built where it was invented anymore. The future moved. It moved to 2 startups run by people who used to work at Google, building products that compete with Google using technology Google invented. The inventors left the building faster than Fat Elvis for an all-you-can-eat buffet at the Gold Nugget. When the people who built the thing leave the building where they built it, you need to pay attention. They're not leaving because the work is done. They're leaving because they think the important work is happening somewhere else. And if the people who literally wrote the paper can't tell where this is going, the rest of us should probably stop pretending we can as well. Nobody knows where this lands. The people who built it don't know. The people regulating it don't know. The people investing in it don't know. The honest answer is nobody knows. And anyone who tells you they do know is selling something that came out of the back end of a male cow. What I do know is that 18 children got answers this week because an AI found leads and a doctor checked. The machine proposed, the human verified. That's the model that works. It's always been the model that works. I think I know which version of this technology we should be building, and I think you do too. Tell me if I'm wrong in the comments, if you would. I'm Uncle Rod. I'll see you Thursday.
This is Johnny Elson speaking for Rod Miller AI. AI news for people who ain't stupid. A Mark Goodman, Bill Todson production.